Hi guys, hope you're all doing fine. In this video, we would like to talk about, before we get into the actual topic, there's a question for you, right? What bothers you to maintain fluency? What bothers you to maintain fluency? The fear. Answer is fear. Yes, fear. Yes, not stage fear, right? It is the fear about grammar, whether you are able to speak grammatically correct or not, and the fear about vocabulary. Am I able to use right words or not? And the next thing is the pronunciation. Am I speaking with the correct pronunciation in the right accent or not? So these are the three aspects that mainly bother you. And because of these three aspects, the fear complex increases and you start thinking about how listeners judge you, whether somebody is pointing out your mistake or not. So in this video, we are going to talk about only the pronunciation. And of course, other video talks about the importance of grammar, and this we talk about the importance of pronunciation. Of course, we need to cover vocabulary also, but that's in some other video. So in this video, let us talk about the importance of pronunciation and to what extent is pronunciation very important. Pronunciation. Does it really matter while I'm speaking? Yes, it matters. But should it be perfect pronunciation? Should it be as a native English speaker? No. You need not speak like a native English speaker. Right? And again, when we bother about pronunciation, American English, British English, you see this, right? When you look into the dictionary, when you want to refer to the meaning of a word, along with the word, you also see American and British. Along with the phonetic transcription that you have between the two slant lines, you find the phonetic transcription, right? Like if you say, like when I say bridge, this is how you find with the phonetic symbols, right? So for American and for British, they give separate pronunciation if that is separate, like direct and direct. That is one example that I'm gonna give. So should I say direct or should I say direct? Which is right? Should I say schedule or schedule? Both are right. But because of the globalization and the dominance of the US, obviously it is a sober fact that the US is the dominance because of the IT industry and most people migrate to that country. And so the American English is more dominant, though the British English is standard. So we need to follow the neutral English. When I say neutral English, again, do not get into the technicalities of the neutral English pronunciation. Just bother about overcoming your MTI. When I say MTI, M for mother tongue influence. If you are able to overcome your mother tongue influence, that is enough. Not necessarily speak either in American or in British or in neutral. If you're overcoming mother tongue influence, means you're speaking in neutral English. That's all we bother about. But how do we overcome mother tongue influence? And that, the first thing that I give you is, you need to do the reading practice. And you also need to listen and imitate. Listen to good speakers of English. Do not listen to American English or the British English speakers. Listen to good speakers. Like Sadhguru Vasudev. He's a great speaker. And there are many other speakers. Watch English news channels. Mere watching English news channels and listening to the news there is enough for listening. And of course, some other speeches as well. And if you find any good professor, if his English is good, just listen to the class. And that will be your everyday practice. And if you have friends as well, when you talk to them on phone, listen to them correctly. Or when you talk to them in person, listen to them. Spend some time with them, speaking with them in English and listening to them. And that is a good practice. Of course, these are just the tips. But how do you read? You got to understand there are certain sounds. For example, how do we pronounce this? This we pronounce as apple. You're right. We pronounce as apple. But there are some people in the state of Andhra Pradesh or in Telangana who say this is yapple. See, ya is added to this. But this is not ya. And if you take North Indians, Hindi speaking people, they say apple, like bank. If you see bank written in Hindi, you will see it as bank. So it is bank. And if you say it in Telugu, you will see it as bank. So here you have the ya sound there, unnecessarily added. This is just an example of Telugu and Hindi. I'm giving the example of Hindi because that's a national language. And I'm giving Telugu because I'm Telugu, right? Considering the two states and everybody. So this is the variation. So it's not bank, it's not bank, it is bank. So there are certain sounds which are not there in our language, Indian language. It is only in Indian languages that we find all letters. How many letters are there in English language? 26. And these 26 letters produce 44 sounds. But in Telugu or in Hindi, we have 56 letters. There is a letter to sound. If I write sir in Hindi or sir in Telugu, I pronounce the same thing. But if I write S in English, do you say it S or sh or z? It changes according to the word. For example, sit, shit. There is a change, right? Not only when you add H, even with that. S, for example, press. This is press. But when I add URE to this, right? Pressure. So same S, here S is giving the sa sound and here S is giving the sha sound. Press and pressure. The same letter but giving different sounds. So you need to understand certain specific sounds which give special sounds, and for that you need to do the tongue twisting exercises. You need to do the tongue twisting exercises. And for example, if you normally say pick out a pen, normally we say pen, there is no force in Indian language. We simply say pick out a pen, pen, paper, pocket, packet. But in English we should say pen, paper, packet, pocket. So there are certain sounds like p, ch, k, ga. These are not the letters, I'm talking about the sounds. P, ch, k, ga. They are called the aspirated sounds. So these sounds, whenever it is in the beginning of a word, you should put a stress on that. So pick out a pen and put it in my pocket. Pick out a pen and put it in my pocket. Pick out a pen and put it in my pocket. Keep repeating this. Not like your funny tongue twisting game. It is for learning. So don't try to speak it very fast. I don't mean it as a game, speak it very. Pick out a pen and put it in a pocket. Pick out a pen and put it in a pocket. It's not like a game, but it is for the purpose of learning. Instead of saying pick out a pen and put it in your pocket, speak it as Pick out a pen and put it in your pocket. Pick out a pen and put it in your pocket. Pick out a pen and put it in your pocket. So this is how you understand and your mind gets conditioned with the sound p, that whenever the sound p is there, you need to force. But is it very important that we need to bother about pronunciation? No. As long as it is understandable to the listener, it is not very important. But you need to bother it for giving an impression to the people. If you speak in the better English, you give impression. And the other thing is the ed words. When you say looked, cooked the food, right? He booked. Sorry. He booked a ticket. He booked a ticket. Normally, words ending with ed, we say booked, cooked, shocked. So whenever ends with ed, we say booked, cooked. That sounds like your Telugu or Hindi. It's not Telugu, right? You need to speak like English. So instead of d, ed, replace that with t. There ends the matter. Looked, booked, cooked, shocked. So there are certain list of words which, of course, I will be sharing that in the description box in the next videos possible, right? I think that would help you. So there are certain tips that you need to follow, which I will be very clearly explaining you in the further videos, right? But do not bother about pronunciation very meticulously as long as you do not have the mother tongue influence. Only try to overcome your mother tongue influence, speak naturally, and do the reading practice with a good rhythm so that you can improve your speaking style. Have a great day. Bye-bye.